cut out again, let me know. I'll go on my other computer. So item number 1 is Barton, 16 Owego Street. Have we heard anything back from him, Rick,
I have not.
after the letter?
I have not heard from him nor his, neither from him nor his attorney, Mr. Chatfield. And I've sent him
Neither one?
letters. Either one, yep. Either one. Either or. Neither nor.
A motion to, he can always reapply if he gets something. We've been carrying this out for 3 weeks now.
Absolutely.
Now, so let's get a motion to just make them reapply if they want to redo that.
I move to ask to reapply for 16 Owego Street if he wants to continue his pursuit of an area variance.
Are you denying it? Is that your motion, Abigail?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Motion with the ability to reapply.
Yep.
Okay.
Deny based on not enough information. Can we get a second to that?
I'll second.
Maria, second.
Maria.
So Abigail made a motion, Maria, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, I assume that was all 4. Item number 2 is.
I will send him a letter and let him know that, so you know so he knows what's going on.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Next we have 7 counts. It's Laura Gaffman and Kevin Sheets for no. Oh no, I'm sorry. 7 counts is Smith. Did we hear back from them, Rick?
I have not heard from anybody.
You didn't hear anything back from them either?
Are they here?
They're right here.
Yeah.
Carrie Smith is here, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, I see Carrie now. Okay, guys. All right. So the question that we had on that one was, I think it was in the letter, right? Terry, the question was why looks like there's a sidewalk coming out that side now. Right?
There isn't. There was just some stones there, some stones that were there, and it's really tough to shovel. And I got a gate to get into the backyard, and I got a side door to the garage, and it's just really hard to maintain. And I just wanted to build it's like a portable deck. I just want to lay some pressure treated 2x on the ground and put some composite deck and screw some decking to it. So I got a sidewalk to walk around to the gate and to get in the door, and I could shovel it and keep it clean. It'll still have gaps to let the water go through, and I wanted to put stone on the edge so there shouldn't be any bad effect. But
What's the width of that, Terry? What is the width of that?
Of the deck or the area that I have?
Both. Let's start with that area.
It should be on that sheet. I only have like 5 feet
Yeah.
to the property line.
Yeah, and then so it's 5 feet to the property line. So then you're going to make the walkway 3 feet and then a couple inches of stone. So there's a foot buffer.
I wanted to do 4 feet and a foot of stone, but if you guys won't say no to that, I'll try 3 feet then.
All right, understood.
I mean, there was a stone sidewalk there, a flagstone, but it was maintained, and I took it up and wanted to put like I say, it's a portable deck. If there's any bad effects, I can always take it up. Because it won't attach to anything.
So it's not like you're pouring concrete, it's just removable.
Nope, it's removable.
Is anybody, on your neighbors, did you speak to them about that? The neighbors
I talked to them before, when I first started doing it with concrete, and they didn't like the idea of the concrete. So I said, okay, we'll do a deck. And that way, it's got gaps in the board, so any water that comes there can go down and disperse underneath the stone that's underneath it.
I'm a little confused. How high off the ground is it then?
It won't be. It'll be laying right on the
Is
ground.
it right on the ground?
Yep.
inch and a half, then something like that, too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, about an inch and a half.
So it's more or less a boardwalk.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, boardwalk, yeah.
No ocean view, huh?
I know, I wish. Soon, I hope we get back to that kind of world again.
Yeah, I don't think that it affects the drainage at all, and, other than maybe, I mean, there really isn't a buffer strip there, it's just kind of grass, as long as they can maintain the grass, right? I don't know, there'd be
Right.
anything else there. That would be an issue.
There was flagstone there, so I mean, it had to go between the sand, the flagstone was set in sand, so the water had to find its way there. I'm removing all that, so they'll be able to go straight through.
So you're not making any longer or, than what it is, correct?
No,
And same, so you're not taking up any more space. And those stones won't be difficult for them to maintain next door, right?
they won't be on their property, so, no.
All right, anybody else have any other questions?
Like I say, it's removable. If it, for some reason it causes it, you can pick it up, take it away, you know?
Okay, all right, can I get, is there anybody else that wants to speak to this that happens to be, in the audience or whatever we have here? All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Move to close the public hearing.
Mr. Larson, close the public hearing, can I get a second?
Second.
Julie Ray, second. All those in favor?
Right.
Opposed? All right, carried. So we'll read through these following tests are considered by the zoning board of appeals to determine whether the variance in weighing the granting or denial of the area variance request, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting the area variance. Pleasure, no? Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible to the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. No. Whether the requested area variance is substantial? No. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? We discussed that. It's basically the same as what we currently have existing. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, its consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the board, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. So obviously it's self-created. Okay. Anybody else have anything else? Anybody want to make a motion? Makes a lot more sense than it did last month.
Yeah. I'll move to grant the area variance to 7 Cowan Street.
Based on the stipulation, he stays back with a stone from the edge, right?
Yeah.
Can I get a second to that?
Second.
Other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that was Larson on the second, Devin, if you need to touch that.
Got it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, Terry, you know what you have to do there, so
Yep.
get that. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you
Good
very
night.
much.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
All right, item number 3, 32 West Court Street, Captain, and, I believe everybody has a well put together application by the way on that. And a variance request. So basically, asking to extend their fence to the one side because it's a corner lot and because of the height of it, it's a restriction on that height.
Right.
But it doesn't appear to be anything of obstruction to anything. No, might even look a little bit better. And like I said, it was a very detailed packet, very well put together. I wish it all came this way.
Thank you.
The only thing I didn't understand was the very last page.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but there's on I'm assuming it's some kind of worksheet that maybe Whitmore fills out or something.
Yeah.
Page 2 of Whitmore quote.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, yeah.
sort of boilerplate 2-page quote. So the back of we probably shouldn't have included that second page because it doesn't really have a lot of bearing on what's going on here. In fact, it doesn't have any bearing on what's going on.
Right, that's right, that's probably the other part, and the two China thing, I don't understand.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is even about.
Really?
So I guess in our desire to be complete, we probably overdid it with this last page because it doesn't make any sense to me either.
I'm not gonna say overdid it, because we like it, but to China, maybe that's how far he's digging, I don't know. But, I'll have to ask Fred about that, that's a good one, but.
Yeah, this doesn't make a lot of sense, I have to admit.
They bill different rates at different grades and what have you, and I think it's taking out the different grades. Most of the times they're used to building like a mile of fence on a farm or something like that. So
Right, it's probably a worksheet, but I don't know why we got it, but that's okay. Does anybody else have any questions to ask? Is there any major?
No, again, just, there will be space between the, original wall and the original retaining wall and the fence, correct?
It's about 12 feet.
Yeah.
Green space between the wall and the proposed fence.
So that would be easy to mow and keep track of, right? Because you can. I think I'm good.
Okay, is there anybody else that's here that wants to speak to this, a neighbor? No? Okay, so, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Julie's made the motion, can I have a second?
second.
A second. All those in favor to close the public hearing? Right, the following tests will be considered by the zoning board of appeals to determine whether the variance in weighing, granting, or denying of the area variance request, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance. No. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. Yes. No. Whether the request area variance is substantial. I don't think it's really substantial because if the fence wasn't so high, it would be 2 feet high. I don't think it's too much. Whether proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. No. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the board, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. I would say that's a yes. They can leave it. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, so can we get a motion? You want to make a motion?
I'll move to grant the area variance at 32 West Court Street to the extension of an existing fence according to drawings submitted May 20, 2021.
Scott, if I could,
Sure.
just so we're clear, the fence that comes from that new extension back to the house, is that going to be 6 feet except for the gate?
That's
Or it's
what
going to be all the way 6 feet? Okay, so you can include that in your approval, because that's technically a front yard as well, and that 6 yard is a variance.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah, okay.
As per the drawing, right.
Yep.
We get a second to that?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, all right, what's that?
Thank you guys,
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. You know, can I make one comment real quick? Devin, you asked me a while back why we gave a fee of $100 to do the variance. It's because it's on this request. printed on the variance request form, and I couldn't remember where I had seen it, but that's where we saw it.
Okay.
Because I got it on the website and I couldn't remember, and you were asking, I could not remember. But looking at this now, I realize that's where it came from.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Devin and I are gonna start working on the forms here pretty soon.
Thank you guys so much for your help. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the complete application.
Good luck, good luck, thank you.
Thanks. Good night.
Thanks, bye.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Okay, so, next we have, 52 Clayton, which is the pace interpretation. In that one, we've determined that there has been allegations that there's a conflict of interest. So we have offered to, what's the name of the firm again, Rick?
Cortland and Gerhardt, the attorney's name is Robert H. McCurtick. I met with him Friday, he has the package, and he's gonna go through it and, give you a call before the next meeting. Or have some sort of contact.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I would like to, so what I'd like to do in this case, because we'd like to get this lawyer up to speed on what this, is about, so we can get their opinion and their input. What I'd like to do is table this one more time, and everybody just got this thick packet with a lot of details in it, which, will give everybody a little bit more time to go through it. So I'd like to do is, table this with the understanding that any questions that anybody has that they would like to get cleared for the information for the attorney, to email them to me, or you can email them so that I have it, and then I'll make sure that's made public to everybody at the next meeting. And that'll answer your questions. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Devin, if you could just email anybody that wasn't here the same, so we know that would be great.
Okay.
All right, so with that, can I get a motion to table under those conditions?
I'm gonna make one suggestion that somebody, maybe Devin, send out an introductory email that we all then reply to, instead of having multiple different titles, subjects. He sends out something saying, per the Monday meeting, Monday, June 8th meeting, please direct all comments, reply to this email, so that she has to go through some kind of order to it. This might
Questions through that way, that's fine. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Okay, Devin?
Okay.
All right, so, can I get a motion for that then, table?
I'll move to table 52 Clayton Avenue, to the next meeting, and according to commentary from the board, Rick and applicant's attorney.
A second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, carried. So, so that was pretty brief here. So, the next next item we have on the agenda is the Paradigm properties, which are the seals. What up?
Scott, if I could?
Yes.
What I'm recommending, they have made application for a number of the houses that they have, and it is somewhat collective as a single discussion on all of their houses. I'm going to recommend, so that it's more clear and easier to sort of sort out the yeas and nays, that they go by house, and that you evaluate each one on its own merits, and that we go through. I understand it'll make for a long agenda, but I think it's the most fair way to do it for the neighborhood and for the Paradigm company, so that they can show their justifications and make their arguments for each house. So I'm asking that you approve that manner for the next agenda.
Rick, can you specify made application in what regard?
What?
You
I
said
don't
made
understand.
application. You said made
They
application.
presented an application, 10 copies, but they made it for all of their houses in each one application. I'm just trying to break them out.
Asking the same thing for each house?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
So Rick, just for, in everybody's defense, we haven't seen anything on that, so we don't.
Yeah.
You will get them. I don't know why you haven't gotten them. They've been in our office for a couple of months now.
But that's okay. I think there's some, nobody's seen them yet. So when they see it, they'll probably understand it a little bit better.
As soon as you see them, you'll get it.
Okay, I think house by house is a good idea, though.
Okay, thank you.
What's the effective date of their application?
Oh, I don't know offhand. I'm at my house. I don't have it in front of me. But it's been a little while.
So I guess that there's no action to be taken on that other than just make sure everybody's okay with that and we'll get those individuals. So don't be scared. And when we get an agenda item, I don't know how many copies there are, but.
Oh, it's a half a dozen, give or take.
Okay. But we should deal with them each one individually as well because of where it's
then the
all
record
based on.
is clear if we have a challenge, and so that'll be good for both sides, I think.
So, all right, so that brings us to the minutes. Does anybody have any addition or corrections or anything out in the minutes?
I think they have 2 copies. Are they the same? Or just happen to get 2 copies? I guess they
Probably.
Yeah, okay. If they're the same, you did.
Extra reading.
That's good. I probably will lose it one.
I don't see anything, so unless somebody else does. All look good?
Looks good.
Yep.
Right, can I get a motion to accept?
I move to accept the May 11th minutes.
Can I get a second? Second that.
Yes.
And we got Julie, so Abigail made the motion, Julie second. All those in favor to accept the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, carried. Does anybody else have anything else on new or old business?
Is Mike, is Captain Pencate on?
Mike, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you for sending along that summary that you provided to Common Council. That was fairly enlightening. Now, you were mostly talking about the backlog in codes, but we obviously are having the backlog in zoning too, or are you kind of combining the two?
There were some questions asked about codes in general last meeting, so my report is specific to codes.
Yeah.
But to say that they're obviously they're very closely related to each other.
Yeah.
And a lot of the complaints that we do deal with in codes are also zoning complaints, and they are related to each other.
Mm-hmm. Now that report had been done back in Bill Knickerbocker's day, I believe, or maybe earlier than that even, or I mean a few years ago, or
that report is current as of about a month ago, a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
I produced that report. I did use a lot of the information came from reports that were produced by Bill, by Chief Glover when he was in codes, and even going back as far as Brad Lefevre. So it's from a bunch of previous people is where the raw data came from, but that report is one that I created.
is there anything that you can correlate all of the applications or all the code issues that you've had to forms of real estate, i.e. residential, single-family homes, two-family homes, commercial apartment buildings, things like that? Is there any way to make it such that you can tell which form of real estate has the most code or the most need for something? Because clearly what you're putting forth is something that has to be addressed. It's vital. And if it's something that is, if you're finding yourself dealing with rental properties or income properties, and I remember hearing a ballpark figure from Bill and from Bob Ray and others of 3/4 of the staff time is devoted to those properties. And council needs to think about that when they determine how they're going to pay for it.
Right. I think that 3/4 of that is probably a good estimation. That it's the majority, but also to be clear, a lot of that workload is created by things like the rental permit law. That takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we spent a lot of time doing MRL inspections. We also have the operating permits. That is a new thing that's been added to the code officer's responsibilities. So that's where a lot of that additional workload comes from. And you do just have a significant increase in the amount of building permits from over 30 or 40 years, and you have half the staffing that you had at that time. It's not something that was created overnight, but it's just that there's a huge amount of we're doing a lot more than we did with less people, and at some point, we're at a breaking point with that, and I think we're there.
Yeah, I think you summarized that very well. It was a good thing to read, and I hope we can support it in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Tom. Anything else? I got a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Thanks, Maria.
Always on now.
Great. You get a second?
Second.
All right, thanks, Tom. Otherwise, Rick's got to stay here all night. All right, a motion for all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right, so remember those emails, to send those emails out to everybody so you get the questions answered, so we get this other one resolved and get them off our back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Be safe.